Hi guys, so today's video is going to be my best of e.l.f. cosmetics video. I did one like this for NYX Cosmetics a couple of weeks ago and you guys really loved it, and e.l.f. was the most requested one to do next. I feel like I don't have that many favourites from e.l.f. at the moment, which is weird because I've tried a lot of e.l.f. in the past. The first one I'm going to mention, if you guys are like an OG subscriber, like mega old, when I had like, was in the hundreds of my subscribers and maybe even up until I had like 10,000 or something, I used to love this concealer. I've been through honestly like 5 tubes of it. I don't really reach for it as much now because I'm more into doing like a lot of makeup, like more dramatic full coverage looks and stuff. But back in the day I used to love a really natural low coverage look, and this was my go-to concealer. Partially because like we didn't have collection and stuff in New Zealand back in my day. So this was like one of the only concealers I could even find that matched my skin tone. This one's in the shade Fair. It's called the Undereye Concealer and Highlighter, but I would use it all over my whole face. And it's got 2 sides. It's got a highlight side and a conceal side. There's the conceal side. I do have a little bit of tan on at the moment, so it looks a bit dark. Looks a bit light, but that's it there. It's so nice. It's not super good coverage or anything. I'd say it's medium coverage at best, but it does the job to brighten under the eyes, and I actually really like the highlight side too. I've heard quite a few people say they're not a fan of the highlight side, so it really must just be one of those products that depends on the person, because I love the concealer and the highlighter. I think it's kind of like what you expect from it. Maybe if you bought this expecting it to be super full coverage and all that kind of stuff, you'd be disappointed. But I love it for a light dewy look. I still use it some days. And the highlight side is literally like high beam type of thing from Benefit. It's just not pinky base, it's like a whitey one. And I use this all the time in summer. I like how it's really thin and lightweight. It doesn't look like a strip of highlight on your face. It just looks like really glowy and pretty. So that's them swatched. I really like them. It's just one of those things. Oh, I'm still wearing my Fitbit. Sorry about that. And yes, if you guys watch Shannon on YouTube, her and Hamish like bullied me and Tama into getting these. So now we have them, but I'm kind of liking it. When I go to the gym, I like it. Anyway, off topic. So these are like $3 or $4 off Beauty Joint, which is where I used to get mine. Second thing I wanted to mention, again, worked for me. I don't know if this has worked for everyone. I haven't heard that many people rave about it. But it's the e.l.f. Eyelid Primer. This is like $1. It's so cheap. It's nothing amazing, like it doesn't really conceal your eyes too well. It does a little bit, but I wouldn't use it like Stay Don't Stray from Benefit, like under your eyes and stuff. I think for the price it's definitely worth picking up. It's pretty decent. I don't really favour any of my other eye primers over it, so I definitely think if you're looking for a cheap eye primer, it's a good one to pick up. It's just kind of like a skin tone colour. It's got a nice silicone-y feel. It really reminds me of the Urban Decay Primer Potion, but slightly more tacky. So if you like the Urban Decay Primer Potion, I would definitely recommend checking this out because it's so similar and it's $1. Next is the e.l.f. Baked Blush. I really want to pick up more of these. I got this recently. This is the shade Peachy Cheeky. I know Kathleen likes a certain one. It's Pinktastic, is that what it's called? I don't know, but there is more shades than just this one, and I've heard they're really good. But I absolutely love this blush. It's really, really nice. I used to be a fan of the e.l.f. Studio blushes, I think they were called. The ones in the like Copy NARS packaging, the little square ones. But you know, like when the oils from your face transfer onto the powder and it gets a weird film and it gets all grainy and stuff. Mine did that so quickly and I couldn't really bring them back from the dead. Like they just went all gross, and they were kind of powdery anyway, like pigmented but powdery, so I wasn't a massive fan of those blushes, whereas these are like a step up. They are so pretty. Really similar to the Milani baked blushes, which I also really love, but this particular shade is just like so pretty. It's like a really peachy highlight kind of shade, so I really love it for layering over other blushes. It gives your cheeks the most reflective, amazing look ever. Like, I hope you can see on camera. It's really, really nice. I would imagine it's similar on the face to like Soft and Gentle or something like that from MAC, which I do not own, so I'm not 100% sure, but it just gives your face this amazing glow. Next is the e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder. I don't have a huge problem with creasing under my eyes. I just thought I'd mention it because it's really good for creasing for those of you who suffer with under eye creasing. It's the shade Sheer. I think that's the only one it comes in. It's just a wee little pot and it's got like a little sifter thing. The only weird thing about it is it's got shimmers in it, which I'm definitely not a fan of, especially for the under eyes. I feel like it looks like you have fallout, like glitter fallout. I can't find the brush I usually apply it with, but this one from MAC is kind of similar. It's It's nice to use like a duo fiber brush or one that's not super dense, and then I find that the glitters don't really transfer, so that's just a little tip for when you're applying it. If you don't want the glittery look, if you do, go for it. It's not like chunky glitter, but there's definitely glitters in it, so it's kind of weird, but it's really good to help prevent creasing. Next is the e.l.f. All Over Colour Stick. I actually picked it up from Shop Marseille, but I'm sure you could get it on Beauty Joint and stuff. I feel like they have these in actual foundation shades too, for memory. But I got the shade Spotlight, which is like a highlight stick. I absolutely love it. I'm really impressed with it. It reminds me of the NARS Christopher Kane Violet Atom stick, except not as purpley obviously, but it applies really similarly. This is actually what I'm wearing today under my foundation. I can't really tell too much how it would last on oily skin because I don't have oily skin. It's quite slippery and creamy, so I feel like it might move around on oily skin a bit. It smells lemony too. It's really weird, but it smells good. So this is definitely really lovely, especially for fairer skin. This shade is a nice one. By the way, I really like e.l.f. brushes. I will link down below my brush videos I did for beginners because I mentioned a lot of e.l.f. brushes in those, but they do really good affordable brushes, like really good. So I'll link those down below, but I don't want to go into brushes in this video. It will be super long. Wet Gloss Lash and Brow Clear Mascara. I haven't tried the mascara sides. It hasn't actually gone brown, which is nice. I suppose dip brow doesn't really transfer that much because that's what I set it over, but it's really good. I mean, just a standard brow gel. I feel like the Ico one is still a little bit better. I just really like this one, but this really reminds me of the Australis Lash and Brow Gel. What's the other clear one I like? The $1 Billion Brow Gel. It's just like your standard clear brow gel, so like why not get this instead of one of the more expensive ones, if you know what I mean, because it's just the same thing. Does a good job, sets them in place all day. It's clear, so it's not like a fibrous one, but if you just want something to set your brows down, I think it's really good. Last two things I wanted to mention. One is the e.l.f. liquid eyeliner. This is really nice. Like the formula is so glossy. It's a really black colour too. Like that sounds dumb, but some liquid liners kind of dry to like a faded black, whereas this one is really super black and super glossy. The applicator's average. It doesn't make it super easy to apply or anything, but it's not like impossible to use. Hopefully you can see how black and glossy and pretty it is. Good one to pick up if you're just wanting to get into liquid liner and you want something that's like a nice formula, relatively good applicator, all that kind of stuff. I just love how it looks on. It's so glossy. Lastly is my favorite lip liner from e.l.f. This is the shade Mauve Luxe. I feel like everyone needs this. This was actually $1. Seriously, actually $1. But I mean, that's so cheap and it looks really similar. I'll write it down below if I remember, but it's an amazing dupe for one of the MAC lip liners I have, but it's just like slipped my mind, the name of the MAC one. It's one of the like a Kylie Jenner ones though from MAC, but yeah, this is basically the exact same colour. It's so pretty. It's weird because in the pencil there's like tiny shimmers, but then once you draw it on you really can't see them, so I thought I was going to hate it, but I actually really like it. It's super pigmented. Definitely if you're going to get one of those like Kylie Jenner lip liners from MAC, just get this first because it's basically the exact same thing. So there's my little best of e.l.f. video. I know it wasn't a ton of products, but that's honestly all I'm liking from e.l.f. at the moment. I didn't want to just randomly chuck stuff in so I'd have more to talk about, if you know what I mean. So give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye! This one might have to be my favourite so far. I don't know, this is like my 4th favourite one. I mean, not in order, but I have like 4 favourites. I really like these, can you tell? Next colour is definitely like a true red. It hasn't got orange in it and it's called Slam.